Hey, it's meteorologist Cory Reppenhagen here with the 9 News Weather Impact Team with a look at your forecast for the rest of the day and beyond with this storm system that is still impacting the state of Colorado and the Denver metro area right now. It was a very impressive hit of snow that we had in the overnight hours and early this morning, but believe it or not, this storm really is only in the developing stages, so we still have 3 more days of impacts here across the state of Colorado, and it does look like it will impact the Front Range coming up over the next few days in several different ways too. So we'll talk about that as we work through this 9 News Weather Impact Day. Here's the snow totals from earlier. These were this morning's reports. Some pretty impressive totals here. 11 inches right in the Denver metro area. East Arapahoe County, 10.5 inches. Up in the parts of the lower foothills with more than 9 inches. And Denver International Airport's finally on the board with 4 inches. That was this morning's measurement. They'll take another measurement. It has been lightly snowing there all day, so we are finally on the board with our official snow. So here's your weather impact headlines. We're looking at some icy conditions on Thursday. We will call Thursday a bit of a lull in the storm. I would not say that there are not going to be impacts, but we will have a little bit of a lull. And it'll start with some very cold temperatures in the morning, so watch out for black ice and slick roads once again tomorrow morning as we head into Thursday. And we're not done yet, so we could continue to have these flurries throughout the rest of the evening and into tonight. And we may get a little break overnight, but those snow flurries will likely come back tomorrow, and some parts of the metro area could be looking at some light accumulating snow on Thursday. And then the next big impact is when this storm system actually kind of reaches maturity and starts to move out of the area. That could deliver some more impacts. Well, it will impact the state, especially in the southern part of the state, but depending on where that system goes, we could have some significant impacts here once again in the Denver area. So that's one thing that we are definitely keeping a close eye on. As you look at the live camera out here in the city of Denver, the clouds are really starting to lower there with low visibility, but there's no trouble really on too many of the roads here right in the Denver area, mostly just wet conditions. And here are your weather alerts for the state of Colorado right now. These will go until 11 p.m. here in our area, and that does include the winter storm warning that is happening out on the eastern plains. So the parts east of Denver along the I-70 Eastern Plains corridor, very rough conditions out there. In fact, most of the roads, including I-70, have been closed throughout the day, and I would expect them to stay that way as this storm system really has a more consistent impact on the eastern plains. And if you look down in the southeast part of the state, you see the darker blue. That's the winter storm watch. That's already in anticipation for the Friday. That's Thursday, Friday, Saturday for the southeast plains as this storm system really starts to develop. And I'll show you that, what I mean by that developing system here. But in the Denver metro area, we could still get another inch of accumulation out of this very light snow that will continue until about 11 o'clock tonight. And that's when we expect these advisories to start to expire in our area. And that could include the winter storm warning out there on the eastern plains as it kind of moves its focus towards the Kansas state line overnight. Here's a live radar picture here. You can see those darker blue shades are the thicker snow showers. They're further to the east, but there are some of those heavier showers near the Denver metro area, but we're mostly dealing with what I would call light snow or flurries, and those continue all the way down the I-25 corridor down into southern Colorado. But this is really the focus point around I-70 and just north of I-70 along I-76. Very difficult travel out there, and that is because not only the snow is fairly heavy, but it is also blowing out there. There's very little trees or buildings to stop that air from moving, so it is definitely piling up and making travel. Well, those roads are very in bad shape. So here's your impacts here on Wednesday. For the Denver area, those impacts go until 11 p.m. tonight. Expect for maybe 1 to 2 inches of more snow In certain areas, for the most part, it's kind of non-impactful, no more accumulating snow, but some parts of the metro could see that 1 to 2 more inches, and the impacts will be definitely on the roads, even though it's not sticking to the roads in most of our area. There is slush in a lot of spots, and it'll start to turn to ice as we go into tonight. So that will be the impacts for tomorrow morning. On Thursday morning, black ice could be a pretty significant impact for you on Thursday morning. So let's take a look at the Futurecast. You can see those snow showers out on the eastern plains in between I-70 and I-76. Those are the very heavy snow showers at the moment. And like I mentioned, those are blowing snow showers as well. So very difficult conditions out on the eastern plains, and it'll stay that way all night long and then return tomorrow. And also the southern part of the state is being impacted. And as we put the Futurecast in motion, you can start to see later tonight the southeast plains start to get huge impact from this storm, and the southeast plains may see heavy snow showers all day tomorrow, all day Friday, and into Saturday. So a huge impact coming towards the southeast plains. But it's still a question mark here in Denver as far as Friday and Saturday. But here's your look at Thursday morning. You see those snow showers start to push back up from the south, moving into the Denver area. Some of that will be accumulating snow. Some of it will just be light flurries. But it should be fairly persistent there for a little while through the early morning hours. And then it'll kind of come and go through the day, potentially getting a break on Thursday night before we get the next impact from this storm system as it develops. Here's the snow forecast going through the next few hours here till about 8:30 tonight, maybe an inch or two more accumulation, especially down in the southern parts of the metro area and the foothills. And taking this all the way into tomorrow morning, you can really start to see from about 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., we start to get more accumulating snow in the Denver area. Not what I would describe as a huge impact, especially now that we have kind of got that first snow out of the way and we're kind of know what to expect with winter weather. But the one thing you should keep an eye on is that the temperatures will be much colder tomorrow. And so if that snow falls on top of black ice, then it's even more hidden. So potentially some dangerous driving conditions for tomorrow as this storm continues to take hold. If you take a look at the statewide view of the snow forecast, you can really see the impacts of the bullseye, so to speak, down in the southeast part of Colorado over the next 24 hours. That's where we would expect to see the most snow from now until about tomorrow afternoon. And then, like I mentioned, the temperatures are definitely going to be an issue for us tomorrow, with these temperatures getting down into the low 20s and some teens in the area. So the roads will have any of those roads that are still wet will have no problem freezing up tomorrow. So, I mean, there's potential that tomorrow's commute could be even more hazardous and slow than it was on Wednesday morning. So here's a look at the timeline. This is actually for tomorrow, not Friday. So this is actually for Thursday. You can see those moon icons in the overnight hours, meaning that there is some potential to have some broken clouds and actually see the sky at night a little bit. But it should cloud back up in the morning, and I would expect to see some snow showers by about 8-9 o'clock tomorrow morning, and those could be fairly persistent through the early morning and afternoon hours for tomorrow. So here's what we're talking about, this storm system. This is a look at the atmosphere as it stands right now. You see that big bend of low pressure sticking down from the north. That's what we call a trough. Really, this first day or two of impacts was only from the trough pushing down from the north. It really has not even formed a storm system yet, and that's what we call the low pressure circulation there. It's called a mid-latitude cyclone, and it is just in the early developing stages, so the impacts are still yet to come. As we put the forecast model into motion, it shows this storm pushing down to the south, down into the middle of Arizona and New Mexico, and that's why we would expect a little bit of a lull on Thursday here in the northern part of the state, while we still have impacts to the south. And then at this moment in time, on Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening is when we really have to figure out where is this thing going, because here's one solution that the European forecast model has, and it shows it moving, once it bottoms out there, going directly to the northeast from that point. And it would take us right into what we would call a sweet spot for more high impact snow here on the Front Range. So we could be talking about another 3 to 6, another 4 to 8 potentially. And if it even gets in the right spot, we could be looking at even more here with this perfect location for an upper low system. But the thing is, we cannot really call this yet because there's so much uncertainty about where this will go once it bottoms out. If it goes a little too farther south, or tracks a little bit further east before moving up, then we get a very low impact situation here. So on the 7-day forecast, what you're seeing there is the orange potential days. So we're just giving you a heads up that we do see something coming that could deliver some higher impact situation, much like we saw on Wednesday, or perhaps even more impactful than what we saw on Wednesday. So that will be something that you have to keep a very close eye on. These computer models will have a new solution about every 8 hours, so we get new information in, and I really don't expect this to become super clear until it's about 24 hours away from impact, maybe even 18 hours. That's how fickle these cutoff low pressure systems really are in their movements. So that's why you just have to pay attention to the potential and wait to see as the details start to unfold. And then we do, as just looking for a little further into the weekend here, it should clear out and we should see some sunshine on Sunday, although still remaining breezy and cold. Same thing on Monday, although we may have one of those classic wintry days where the sun is out full and the temperatures are cold. And that will carry us into the next system will be probably midweek, but at this point it looks like low impacts for now, but that's another thing to keep an eye on as this kind of very active wintry pattern develops here in the first few days of November. So that's a lot of information I'll throw out there for you, but hopefully that helps you out with any of the forecast or any of the plannings that you might have coming over the next day to 3 days. So thanks for joining us. Have a great one. Enjoy that snow.